Arr.
Turn that camera a little bit.
Yeah, you need to get into it. It's got the whole side over there. Steph, you can bring yours in a little bit too. Watch that leg though, because that leg is doing its own thing. That box of dots is
I love it.
really
The contents inside is so good.
I don't think they are. Well, God bless you. God bless you. God bless every one of you. Those of you that may have come on a little bit early, you heard us working through our technical difficulties. But listen, we are here. I am so blessed to be here. So thankful to be here.
So
this is the day that. Wait, what?
So thankful.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Both of y'all put that little bridle in there. I'm so weak. Over both of y'all. This is the day that the Lord has made. We are rejoicing and we are extremely glad in it. You know who I am. You know what this is. I am Pastor J.D. Stenberg, pastor of the Faith United Ministries. And that's 7905 Ferdinand Lane in District Heights, Maryland. And you know, we always going to be bringing the joy, bringing the laughter, bringing the energy in the afternoon. Wait a minute. The energy in the afternoon. Man, this is that last wind down time before you get off at 5 o'clock. We are getting you ready because you know you don't do no work between 4 and 5, no way.
Absolutely.
But we are here and we are grateful for this great church talk radio family that allows us the ability. You know, Cardi B got that from me, isn't it?
You know what? I was about to say.
Because I was doing that long before she was.
Rolling the R's before.
Long before her, so.
You need to be doing Pepsi commercials.
I need to be doing Pepsi commercials, and she needs to pay me my money. So listen, we are here, and we are thanking God for the privilege to be here. I am here with my co-host, my cohorts. Before I introduce them, can I please thank you, Church Talk, for always being there. Thank you, Lady Michelle, for being on the other side. Listening to us. You know, Lady Michelle hears us before we come on the air when we are just making no sense. And she still carries us like we're professionals.
Thank you so much.
And everything like that.
Like we appreciate you.
But they know we're crazy. They know we don't have any sense. And that's what makes us who we are.
Absolutely.
On the left of me with a dead box of dots. I mean, this box of dots has been through the storm and through the rain. And I'm really trying to wonder if these are really even real dots because this box has been wet and these dots have not stuck together. They are still see, normally stuff, you know, when it gets wet like that, it'll be stuck together and not even good. But this box has just been a beating, but it kind of talks about, you know, the fact that the outside of the box will be damaged, but the inside is still good. This is representing, and this is representing StephTheBest.net.org.com, the DOT, boxofdots.edu, LLC. I'm telling you, been through some storm, but the flavors are still. I haven't opened the box, I can't tell you. But anyway, she is here. She is here. Greet the people, Steph.
Hey, Church Talk. What's up? YouTube, Facebook. I'm excited. This second dose, you know, I got a little energy, got a little food.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
did.
Yeah, I did. I did, you know, and I'm so happy to be a part of this broadcast, you know. Each week after I'm finished, I'm like, God, are you sure you want me a part of this? Because I be learning so much. Like, I would rather be on the other side of the camera. But, you know, sometimes God puts something in us, you know, to help other people. And, you know, I'm wondering, like, why I'm feeling like this, wondering why I'm going through this, wondering why this comes up, wondering why this did not come up.
Right.
And it's always for somebody else. And you just have to keep that, you know, in the back of your mind. You have to keep that in your heart that it's not for me, it's for someone else. So, you know, I'm going to keep trying.
You know, that is so beautiful because I think I was talking with one of my spiritual sons yesterday, and I said it's almost arrogant to think that everything that you've gone through was really about just you. It's like, how arrogant is that everything that's happened was about you. Like, it was not for anybody else to learn from, or it was not for you to help somebody else. You know, it's just like the Bible says that God will comfort us, not to make us comfortable, but to make us comfortors. And so to think that everything is about for, I'm supposed to feel warm and fuzzy all the time. No, you're supposed to get your warm and fuzzy out so that you can help somebody else to get through what they're going through. And so I'm convinced that a lot of the stuff that has happened in raising my children and being married and being a pastor and being betrayed and being hurt and being let down, all of that was not about me. And watch this, especially when you know you didn't do anything.
Yeah.
See, that's when you know there's got to be a bigger picture. And even in the stuff that you did do, it couldn't have been all about you, because as you've heard me say over and over again, that everybody may not be able to be a trailblazer, but they can be a pathfinder. So if you go through and let when I was younger, we'd be running through the woods and everything running, and sometimes you run through sticker briars, and somebody would run in front of you, and they would push the branch, and by the time you come, the branch will hit you in your face and everything. But by the time you made it through getting hit in the face and everything, the next time you went through, you broke down some of the stuff so that the next time you're being chased in the woods, that same thing won't happen. And I think that that's kind of what's supposed to happen with us. We may have gone through some things where we got scarred, we got, hit in the face with some stuff, some things blindsided us. But what we've learned from that is the next time around, we may get it when we go off another path, but this path, we're going to learn how to not let those same things stop us. So thank you, Steph, for dropping the wisdom and getting us ready, because you sound like you're ready to preach up in the cab. Yeah, because you already put the A in your voice. You got hair to shake. All I can do is shake my voice, because I ain't got no hair.
I'll shake my hair since you got the voice.
On the right of me,
Woo!
I've got her today. She's got the hood on. She's got the hood on. Yeah, no, keep it warm.
Yeah, it is.
Keep it warm, because it's just cool.
Yeah, it is.
This is one of the days when I'm kind of glad that you all's hips are pushing me in. No, seriously, because most times I be saying y'all don't give me no room, but this time I'm like, don't move.
Yeah.
Don't move, stay right there. Because I'm still trying to get acclimated to what they're saying. This is warm weather because it's 50 degrees. It's still 40 degrees cooler than what I was in. So my skin ain't there, But here she is on the right of me, holding it down. Just one word, one name, one mic. You know who it is. Josie! You were real low on that one, though.
Let's do it one more time.
Get that Steve Carell, okay.
Well, greet the people with a Pepsi. Go on and greet the people.
Hey y'all. Church Talk Radio. We're glad to be back another week. Facebook and YouTube, y'all, we are here. We're excited.
They're coming in on Facebook.
Yeah, y'all doing that. I see you all.
Yeah, they out there.
Thank y'all so much, because this is our second dose. And
Second dose of the
if y'all
double
didn't tune in this morning when we were with WBGR Gospel Network, and y'all didn't hear what this dude right here was talking about as it relates to family dysfunction, it's so many perspectives as it relates to it, but today he's talking about it is that serious.
It is that serious. He's talking about it ain't that serious. No, it is that serious.
It is that serious. Please go back on his timeline if you're on Facebook. If you're not following him on YouTube, please check it out, because it's one of the things about this broadcast, even though we're back to basics, a lot of the principles and teachings that you get from here are really life lessons that help you in every facet of your life. It does challenge you, whether it's relationships, whether it's choices, all types of areas. And I said it this morning, I'll say it again. Although the truth that is being shared may be a little challenging.
Yeah, it is.
Because we get it as well.
It hits us first.
It hits us hard. It hits us hard. It has us look at ourselves even after the broadcast or while we're talking, amongst each other. We have to look at ourselves and try to figure out, okay, what can we do different, or how can we be better? So just know that we're getting the same teachings, and I hope it's blessing you all. If it is, definitely send us some hearts and love. But then also, if it is a blessing, please do us a favor. Become a sponsor. Become a sponsor and a partner.
Become a sponsor.
We've been doing this, and why not connect and partner with us? Because we got some things that's happening. We got some special guests that's coming soon. We got some big things that's happening. And if you ain't jumping on, then you're going to miss the ride.
You better jump on now, or else you'll get run
You
over.
get left, not
You
left,
get
but
run
ran over.
No, you get run over. You get run over. I got to shout out, right now. We got to shout out, my daughter. I mean, Regina Robinson Davis, the one that makes it possible for me on. Here comes some hearts and thumbs. We thank you so much, my daughter, Regina.
you.
That girl. Now, do you know Regina Robinson Davis will not only sponsor for us to be on, but then every time you say Cash App me something, she Cash Apps me.
She sows a seed.
I mean, this
That's a
lady.
pure heart.
I mean, it's almost embarrassing.
Yeah, it is.
Because she does this, and sometimes people are kind of like, just like they do on Sundays when they're watching the service. They're like, Psh, I ain't got to get no time, I ain't got to get no offering. I'm just getting the word. I'm outie, But I appreciate the kindness that everyone does. Family that is always sending something, always supporting. Those of you that are praying for us and lifting us up. Because even while we're doing this, we're working on some things behind the scenes so that we can be a product for the Lord Jesus Christ, that we can come across in a way of things that are going to be valuable to those that are listening and present it in a more excellent way. So that's why we need you to swipe right, to share this with everyone, to go back and take the YouTube one, put it on your page. Somebody needs to see it. Someone's going to pick it up. And I'm telling you, I've been meeting with a few people, and there are those who are getting healed in their marriages, getting healed in their relationships by the broadcast. I've had people who have told me that I saved their family's situation because we were talking about the dysfunction, and because we're so transparent about what happens in our family. With us, we are family, but we don't always agree. Come on.
I mean, this is not.
I just came back from Africa with these bars. I just don't understand what. What is it? So I come back from Africa with these bars. And so look, Regina Robinson Davis put up on there. Hit him on Cash App. Hit him on Cash App.
YouTube and Church Talk. If you want to, the Cash App handle is capital D, lowercase r, capital J, capital E, capital S.
That is it. And you need to come on and join us and do that. I see some of you all are on there. Thank you so much. I'd like to holler out all of your names, but I see Daryl Jones on there. Thank you so much. I can't see everybody that comes up on YouTube because you have to keep doing it so that I can see it, because it doesn't stay. It comes and it goes, But thank you to all of you that are on here, that are blessing us by your presence. Hey, we got something going on here in Faith in about a week.
Yep.
Next
Friday. Because people always look at church as just being, what you do on Sunday, and, thinking that that's all it is. Or y'all just gonna do church, it's gonna be a sermon, y'all gonna do praise and worship, and I don't know none of y'all songs, no way. Yeah, you come put us it. So we're doing something on Friday, and it's major. Steph, what's happening? Because this ain't even for the 40 and ups.
No, it's not. It's not for everybody. I'm sorry, guys.
Exactly.
But it is for the youth.
Come on.
Yes, I'm excited because next Friday, Janice, myself, and Faith United Ministries is hosting a Bird Box Challenge.
Wait a minute.
Okay. Just the name of
Bird Bath Challenge.
No.
Bird Box.
No.
Now I heard somebody say last night Bird Bath. I was listening to a sports station, and they said, she said, you can tell I haven't watched it yet. I said, obviously.
Yeah, right. You're saying the wrong thing.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, bird baths, you don't even, okay,
Yeah.
No.
I don't want no real shower.
Right.
I don't want a whole bath. I'm going to take this bird bath.
take a bird
That's when you
bath.
just like watch the body parts.
That should not be a
Let's go.
challenge.
Exactly.
No, it is a challenge. I'm struggling with taking a bird bath.
No, that should not be a challenge. Please help me.
But that's going to be happening on next Friday, and it's going to be starting at 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
And the thing about it is that it can be a night that husbands, wives, you all can decide that you don't want to be around your teens anymore, because it's for anybody ages what on up. What to what?
And we have it from 12 to 25.
Yep.
And the thing about it is that we chose Friday night because, Friday is the weekend.
It's
and,
the weekend.
Young people.
Living for the weekend. Living for... Sorry, OJ's.
people, wild out and they enjoy life and they, hit the streets on Friday. But we wanted to provide a platform and a location where they can actually have fun, get some free food, everything free, and it can still be from a spiritual perspective. So Steph and I has some games that we're gonna do with them. We got it's I don't want to tell it all, but
Don't
you
tell
just need to let anybody that's between the age of 13 and 25. It's free, guys. It's free.
We want to stress that.
It is free. They're gonna come in, have a good time.
Free.
Yeah.
It's free.
That's good.
So we're doing it. We're the youth here is called The Gathering, and we just gonna be having another time where we're gonna be gathering and doing some things, and we would love for your kids, your youth to be a part. So yeah, Friday the 29th at 7:00 p.m. 7905 Fernham Lane, District Heights, Maryland.
Listen, I want to jump into this teaching. We want to do this thing. Last week when we were teaching, the lesson was so powerful, but we had, as you all know, last Wednesday, there was this thing with Instagram and
everybody
Facebook.
was shutting their
Everybody
phone
was
down.
shut down for like about 4 hours.
Yeah.
One place said theirs was off for 10 hours.
Yeah.
It scared people because they were. Can you imagine what's going to happen when the rapture comes?
Oh wow.
Nobody's not gonna know what
They're
to
not
do.
gonna be ready.
And all of a sudden, everything is controlled, and it's like, oh my God, I can't reach nobody except for who I'm with. And, oh, I didn't want to be with you when Jesus came back. I did not want him to come back, and I was with you.
I was at this place.
Oh my goodness. And I can't call nobody to come get me, can't call Uber. Everybody caught the first cloud out and they on Lyft. They got Lyft, and I'm trying to get Uber to come. They got Lyft, and you got Lyft.
Clearly.
As you can see, we are hyped up this afternoon. So we want to encourage you.
Right.
What? Because you never know the day nor the hour.
No.
But last week everything shut down, and we had such a
It
powerful
was so
lesson.
good.
You have to go on YouTube.
You have to
get that
They
one.
copy and paste it, but they need to go on YouTube.
You've got to go on
J.E.
YouTube.
Sturdivant Ministries.
You
That's
got
the
it,
YouTube channel.
STRIES. You have to go on my YouTube channel, J. Sturdivant Ministries, and listen to last week's teaching. I couldn't reteach that one if I had to.
Nah.
I really cannot do it. So just go back and get it, and I'm just going to drop a few light things on us today. I was wondering because last week's lesson we talked about the concept of we tell everybody that we love them, but the real question is if you're supposed to love people as yourself, then do you really love you?
Yeah.
And we hit on some things saying, well, if you love yourself, why would you hurt yourself? If you love yourself, why would you do things that are not advantageous for yourself? If you love yourself, why would you do things that are detrimental to your own health? And we gave the illustration of a doctor who sees people who have cancer on a regular basis and everything like that, and knows that the Surgeon General says that smoking is not good for you, and yet you've got a doctor who treats people for cancer, but yet goes out and smokes. And so the real question is, when you're talking about loving someone, as you love yourself, I thought that I would deal with, do you really love you? And so that's what we dealt with last week for 1 hour. Please go back and watch that one, please. Now this week I want to touch on something because we've covered over a few times a certain concept. And that love your neighbor as yourself, that was Luke chapter number 10, verse 27. Luke 10, verse 27, love the Lord your God, all your heart, mind, soul, and strength, and your neighbor as yourself. Then we dealt in Corinthians, where we asked the question, what is love? And as we found out that love is patient, love is kind, all of those things like that. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit because do you really want to say to someone, I want you to love me like I love you? Do you really want love to come back to you the way that you give it? And that's what I want to talk about a little bit. I want to talk about that a little bit. Stay with me, because I'm kind of concerned, because there was a song out. I was watching the biography of Teddy Pendergrass, who was actually an ordained preacher at the age of 10, and then he became, this big person with Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes and all of that. And Teddy Pendergrass had this song, "It's so good loving somebody when somebody loves you back." And that was a wonderful song. So I want to know the concept of, do you want the love coming back to you the way that you give it, or do you want love to come back to you the way it's supposed to be, in spite of how you give it? Because I know that a lot of people start saying, oh, love me, love me. Elder Bar says, love me in a special way, because I'm a special kind. I'm special, and you've got to now start thinking, to what measure, to what degree am I giving love? Because maybe people are not giving love back to you because they are getting from you something that is not actually love. So we know what love is. We know what we're looking for in love, but what does love do? And I wonder, do you really meet the criteria for love? There's something that Jesus said that was kind of major, that kind of hit me. He says this, he says, if you love me, keep my commandments. If you love me, keep my commandments. So literally what Jesus is saying is, if you really love me, prove it. The proof of real love, Jesus says, is if you keep the words I've told you. So now what I'm getting into a little bit, and what the Lord has been really troubling me about, is, do I love him enough to keep what he tells me to do? Because if I'm not committed to him, if I'm not loyal to him, and I have to love him with all my heart, mind, soul, and strength, and then my neighbor as myself, if I'm not loyal to him in his words, I'm not going to be loyal to me, and I'm sure not going to keep my vows to you. I'm not going to keep my promises to you. If I, when it comes to Jesus, start out doing right with him, and then stop, then I'll start out doing all the stuff that's going to make us good, but then I'll stop. Because I have established that I will be part-time in my love with the highest power. So I'm going to be part-time in my love and commitment with you. So I thought that I would look at just 5 things that shows how love can be proven. To show whether or not you have real love, or whether you got something that might just be, heavy lust. So y'all want to say something before I jump into this?
No, I think it's good. I think it's going to have you look at how you really treat yourself, because we make promises to ourselves so many times as far as what we're going to do, what we're not going to do, and we let ourselves down all the time. So it's not surprising or shocking when relationships, are treated the same way, because that's how you treat yourself.
Oh, and that's the reality of why, we sometimes we'll get in relationships and somebody will give back to us. We'll be like, why do you treat me like that? Or why do you do that? And we don't realize that the reason why they're doing that is because that's what you do. And so they're really just reciprocating. Because if a person holds nothing back, gives everything they have, it is not hard for the person that they're with to hold nothing back and give everything that they have. But if you are piecemealing or part-timing in your relationship with others, then you're going to get that. So what we're talking about today, we've been in this series about the depth of your love, and what we want to talk about today is prove it. Prove it. Just prove it. I mean, when I was growing up, we'd say, girl, if you really love me, you would do this. You would do this. If you really love me, come on. okay, it's not like we really having sex if we just do this part. Just part of it in, not all. And we do all of those types of things. You know, everybody just had a flashback. Ooh, did he just watch that?
He did.
Because I didn't say it as graphic as I used to say it back then. You know, 'cause I'm just not going to do that because this is supposed to be Christian, you know, church talk. Church talk thing, you know. But they need to hear it from church.
Yeah.
So if they be telling you just the head and all that kind of stuff go in and stuff like that, you need to know that there's a setup for some stuff that's going on. God will forgive us. God will forgive us. We prayer partners. We prayer partners. And we break all of these commands in the name of love. Yeah. Oh, I got some faces now. Oh, y'all out there now. So we want to look at the first thing about love. Steph, you want to say something before I go on?
Yeah, I think with proof, it comes, it's either like action or it's tangible. And
Ooh,
we
you
use
got it.
our words a lot.
Yeah,
and
my stuff. Come on. Go ahead.
stuff. But I was just talking about this with somebody because our actions show what we're feeling. And even if I can say I love myself, how I'm treating myself and what I know I'm doing to myself,
Absolutely.
even though you can't see it or, you know, it's not something that you can put your finger on, but I know what I do when I wake up and when I go to
Absolutely.
sleep and throughout the day, and that's not love sometimes. So it's just like, if I do that to myself
Wow.
in my actions,
Yeah.
only imagine what I'm doing to somebody else.
Dr. Miles Monroe said something in one of his teachings that he was doing, and he said, if you were outside of you and did not, if you were outside of you, were not you, but knew everything about the you, would you still want to be with you? If I was not me, but I know everything about me, would I still want to be with me? Would I still follow me? Would I still want to hear me preach? See, because I know
Exactly.
me.
Uh-huh.
I know the me that nobody knows. And if everybody knew the me that I know about me, am I somebody worth following? Somebody worth saying, child, he got to be this, that, and the other because I'm this. No, I'm talking about the you that nobody knows.
Right.
Then you kind of lower your standards a little bit, you know, because we think of ourselves more highly than we ought to think. So if you don't want anybody to know that part of you that you know about you, instead of trying to masquerade as if it's not there, get it out of you so that you can be the somebody that somebody would want to be with. So let's look at certain things about love so that we can try to prove whether or not we have, you know, the genuine love or whether we don't have the genuine love. What does it say? One of the things about love, the characteristics of love, is right here in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 4. Let's see what this first one says. Love what?
Suffers long.
Love suffers long. Let's stop right there. Love suffers long. Love suffers long. I wrote down that what it means is that love will endure. Love is not quick to give up. Love is not quick to quit. Love hangs in even when there appears to be no reason to do so. So when you tell somebody, I love you, you're saying to them that I intend to hang in. I intend to not quit. I'm not going to give up on you. That's what you're saying when you tell someone that you love them. If that's the case, why does it seem that people fall out of love if when they said they loved, it meant that they were willing to hang in there, to endure? So now the question is, do we really love, or are we simply using to get what we want out of the situation, using the concept of love as the means to get what we're looking for? Somebody sent me something the other day I thought was very, very powerful, and they sent me a thing on Instagram, and I wish I was bright enough to have thought of it. And they said this. They said, people don't abandon who they love. People abandon who they're finished using.
Wow, that's deep.
Yeah.
People don't abandon who they love. People abandon who they are finished using.
Wow.
Meaning that I would not run out on you if I love you, because love suffers long. But if I was only with you, what's the word again for situationship? Then once I've gotten all that I want out of the situationship, then I go ahead and abandon it because I never intended to be in it for the long haul. One of the things I found, I've been doing this ministry for since 82. 82, so that's quite a few years. 92, 2000, 2012. So I've been doing this for about 37 years, and I have not married a lot of people, but I've attempted to marry a lot of people. And the reason why I've not married a lot of people is because many people came to me and they would say, so Pastor or Rev or my dude, look, how long is counseling going to take? And I said, well, counseling is going to be, it's going to be probably about 8 sessions that will last you over an 8-month period. 8 months! 8 months! I said, yeah, you're going to have homework assignments, and you're going to have time that you'll do the homework assignment, and your life mate is going to do their homework assignment, and then you do them separately. Then you got to come together and go over them. Then come and meet back with me again so that we can go over what each of you all went over together. Man, ain't nobody got time for all of that. We got the wedding already planned. I said, so you are willing to work for a year and a half putting together a wedding, but won't put in 8 months for the marriage.
Wow.
Because we want the wedding, which is ceremonial, which takes, if I did it without any fluff, 10 minutes to do. But you don't want to put 8 months worth of time in for something that you are planning on being in for the rest of your life. And the reason why they don't want to put in that work is because they really don't plan on being with the person for the rest of their life. They already have an exit strategy in place that I give this thing 3 years, and if he mess up, if she then I am out. But see, that's not love, because love suffers long. It is enduring. It does not plan on leaving. And so when you get with someone, even if they're just your boo thing, your one night thing, your temporary thing, if you tell them I love you, you have already made a contract for a long time, even if you're saying it to hit it for one night.
Yeah.
Because the word love binds you to an individual. And that's why an individual. And that's why you find the struggle in relationships when someone is like, we just ain't working out. It's like, oh no. You ain't walking away from that because you have made, Steph said it just a minute ago, the words that we speak make contracts. You have made a contract with someone. You have told this individual by this word of love that you are in this till whenever. It's a nonstop. It's ongoing. And we don't understand how a person can walk away, and say, well, you got the same thing out of it. It was just sex. You've got to understand that the moment that you put those fluids together, that body together, blood is thicker than water, but spirit is thicker than blood. And you have made a contract with the word love and then with the connection of your flesh, so that even if you did not mean love and you had no intentions on staying, there has been a spiritual connection with the individual that is going to have you being drawn to them, even if you don't love them. Yeah. Love endures. And so if you really are serious about saying that word, you better be careful when you say it, because you've made a contract with your mouth that connects you with a person. Man, and if that person was just somebody that you got with because you was drunk that night, you was high that night, and you wake up in the morning and you like, oh my goodness, I thought it was Janet Jackson, it was Freddie Jackson. And now you struggling and trying to renege on everything that you had said, but you've already now made a connection by the words that you have spoken and by the things that you have opened yourself to. So number one, love is enduring. It hangs in there. If you're going to prove your love from a positive perspective, that means you don't give up so easily. Oh my God, that word has been thrown around so much, and my mind is running right now as I'm looking at it. Why so many marriages don't work, and why so many relationships. This is supposed to be my friend. I love you, girl. You ain't got to worry about it. I'm here. I am here. No, everything is good. And then all of a sudden, when the person is looking for you and they're not there, you're trying to figure out what happened. What happened was they said what they needed to say to get what they wanted to get. And after they got what they wanted to get, they were hoping that you would forget what they had said so that they would never have to keep their word when they said that they loved. You got to prove it. So number one thing about love is if you're really going to say the word, you have to be willing to hang in there. You must endure. Jesus said, if you love me, keep my commandments. I'm concerned about so-called Christians, so-called church folk who say that they love Jesus and yet they make him a promise and back out of it. They make him they give him their word. You know, oh no, Lord, if you ever get me out of jail, you ain't never got, Lord, if you just don't let me be pregnant. Father, if you just don't let me catch nothing. Father, if I can just cure it with some pills and a shot. Father, and we make all these Lord, if you just give me a job, I promise you ain't never got to worry about no time. Lord, if you just don't let me get arrested. And we make all of these promises to God, you know, and once we give that word, then we wind up backing out of it and don't realize that God does not back out after you've backed out. He holds us to his word. If you love me, keep the commandments. Keep what you've promised me and keep what I've promised you. So number one, love endures. Second thing about love is that you'll see this in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 8. What does it say right here, Steph? Chapter 13, verse 8 of 1 Corinthians.
Love never fails.
Now, that's a powerful thing right there. Love never fails. To say that love never fails, you are now saying that love refuses to lose.
Oh, yeah.
It never fails. I'm going to fight for this.
Right.
I'm going to fight for this. I'm fighting for this. I know we're going through a rough patch right now, but my love will make me hang in there and fight for it. You know, Brian Courtney Wilson, he has a song that says it's worth fighting for. You have to have someone that's worth fighting. I think that some of the things, even in my life growing up and going through certain things, some of the things that I have experienced in my emotions is that I never felt like I was fought for. Yeah. And when you don't feel like you are being fought for, it makes you question whether you are worth what you were told you were worth to the individual. You know, love will fight for love. Love, you know, do you know that the reason why some of us still believe in love is because we're fighting for the concept of love that we have yet to find. Yeah. I'm still fighting for it. I believe it's there. And I'm fighting for it. If Jesus says that I have it, that it's out there, that it is available, and that love never fails, then that means that I'm not going to give up on love. I'm not giving up on love. And because I love you, I'm not giving up on you. And some people want you to give up on them because they've already given up on themselves, and they have made up in their mind that if I could just get this person to give up on me, then I'll be all right. And I can say, ain't nobody ever believe in me. Ain't nobody ever do. And we almost do the things that we know that the individual says will hurt them the most, and we will do that to them, even though we know that that's what will make them be devastated, because we want them to give up on us. Because if that person gives up on you, then you feel like you have a right to give up on yourself and to go back doing what you always wanted to do in the first place. Y'all want to say anything? I gotta put some chapstick on my lips, some Carmex on my lips. I'm talking so much.
The love concept is so broad, but when you even think about it being long suffering, when you suffer, it's not always good. And a lot of times we choose when we want to love, when it's good times, when it feels good, when it makes, when it makes me happy. And so it's, I love you joyously. But when you go through pain, when you go through adversity, then it's okay. And that's the test of love.
Come on, because I'm going there.
Okay,
go ahead. No, go on.
That's the test of love, when it's hard times, when it doesn't make sense, when, you thought that you was going to be marrying a billionaire, but then this person loses their job and you all are the complete opposite of what you thought you was going to have. Is that love still there? And the suffer long piece is so important, because when it's all said and done, just because it doesn't feel good, just because it doesn't, it may not look good, doesn't mean that it's not for good.
Absolutely. Steph, you want to say anything?
Yeah, just what you had just said, as far as, sometimes somebody can love us and we see that love and we will push them away because we're not ready, or we're not willing to give up certain things that, they're telling us, or whatever the case may be. And it's kind of scary, because is it worth more to not have nobody and do you?
Yeah.
Or to make a compromise and to have the love? I don't know.
Yeah, and some people aren't going to really work in that area where somebody says, well, I'm gonna just keep on trying, because some people will give up.
Yeah.
And then you'll look back, after you've had a couple of birthdays or something happen, you're like, how many bridges did I burn? How many opportunities did I have? It's just like, years ago, that said, why those good girls love them bad boys? And you wanted the bad boys then, but then you start having a few birthdays. And then all of a sudden, you just want someone that's going to be good to you and everything like that, but you have pushed away all the ones that could have been good, and now all that's left is somebody that you really, really don't want, but that's all it is. And so now you lower your standards to just accept what's available, when, because you didn't want to do certain things. I wanted the good girls, but I wanted the stripper too. So I tried to make the good girl the stripper. And all of a sudden she's like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do those types of things. It's like, oh, well, girl, come on and go on. The next thing you know, later on, all you have is somebody that's 40 still trying to be a stripper.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And now you're like, man, this is it. And then you see the good girl, and she winds up doing some good things. She went on with her life. She did some great things, and you wish you could get there, but she still remembers that you pushed her away, or you pushed him away at that opportunity. You don't always get a second chance to make a first impression.
That's so true.
You don't always get a second chance to make a first impression. You've got to do what you need to do while you have the opportunity. So we said that number one, love endures. If you really have love, you'll prove it by hanging in. Secondly, love doesn't fail. If this is really, really love, you'll fight. You'll fight. I know that the question comes up by many that are listening to me right now. Well, when have you done enough? When do you stop enduring? When do you stop fighting? I don't know when you stop enduring or fighting if it's really love, because Jesus, even now, he is still waiting for some of us to get ourselves together, and he is giving us time and patience because he loves us, and we haven't even thought about turning our lives over to him. We keep going back over and over again, and that's always the barometer that I use. I hang in as long as I remember Jesus hanging in for me. See, now that becomes your barometer. If you can give up so quick, and again, you love the Lord your God with all your heart, your mind, your soul, your strength, then your neighbor as yourself, that means I'm saying, God, we pray it every day, forgive me of my debts as I forgive those who owe me or who trespass against me. You are now literally saying, God, to the degree that I am hanging in with this person, hang in with me. To the degree that I forgive this person who has wronged me, forgive me of my wrongs. Which literally, because we're like, it'll be a cold day in hell before I forgive them. Then what you are saying to God is, God, treat me the same way. God's saying, it'll be a cold day in hell before I forgive you. Because you are getting back reciprocity, reaping what you sow. And I can't tell you, there was a young man that was in our ministry years ago. And I really wanted to pour into him. I believed in him and some things that he was capable of doing. And the young man walked away. He went on and went away. And he kind of got on drugs a little bit and things of that nature. And when he came back, and as I always said, my arms were open to him. And when he came back, I opened my arms to him, welcomed him back and everything like that. And he said, man, Pastor, thank you for loving me, welcoming me back. He says, man, I would love for what you talked about concerning you and I to pour into a Paul and Timothy type of thing. I would love to have that now. I said, I would have loved to have had it years ago. And he said, well, is there any hope for it now? I said, no, I'm not where I was. I'm in a different place, and I've got other people that I'm working with and pouring into now. So I really can't do that. I don't have the time to do it for you or with you now that I once had. That's the thing Bishop Jason said to me years ago. You know, and so there are certain things that when you miss your window of opportunity, you don't get another chance. It's like, well, what happened? Why did you change? Why did you change? I changed because you wouldn't. I changed because you didn't. And most of us want people to keep the welcome mat out on their hearts while you keep on wiping your feet on their emotions. And they can't understand why you don't just keep yourself right there. I see you all on here. Who is that? Thank you, Joseph Evans. I see you. And Kevin Martin, thank you for coming on. Appreciate you, man of God. So we found out that number one, love endures. Love hangs in there, refuses to give and refuses to lose. But then here's one in 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 8. Because I'm doing by these things, I'm going to make you have to question whether or not you've really had love when you told people. Because if you're not willing to hang in there, church talk, and if you're not willing to fight for it, YouTube and Facebook, the question is, did you ever really have love, or did you have an emotional desire for an individual, but did not have what is called love? What else about love? 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 8. Watch what it says right here, please. Read it, Josiane.
And above all things, have fervent love.
Now that fervent is making reference to have passionate, burning, hard driving love. Go ahead.
For one another. For love will cover a multitude of sins.
Love, first of all, love endures. Secondly, love fights. But then thirdly, love covers. I'm concerned if I tell you that I love you, but I'm waiting to expose you every time you do something wrong. Where's the love? Love covers a multitude of sins. Love does not want you to be publicly embarrassed. Love does not want to see you humiliated. Love doesn't want to see you put to shame. I'm concerned about people who are always, even in the so-called church, who are quick to always say, child, did you see what they posted about so-and-so? Girl, let me give you the link. Share it on your timeline. We get a joy out of people, especially people, and here's something very powerful, daughters. We feel that way for people that we have always privately or secretly envied. And that's why we love when we see them go through something, because it's like it brings them down a little bit. Listen, you don't have to celebrate in somebody's fall for you to feel built up. If somebody else has to be pulled down in order for you to feel built up, then there is a question about the level of love that you have for yourself. Why can't you just be built up? Why do you have to glory in somebody else's failure? I'm going to tell you, for the many situations that happen in my life, I pray for God to have mercy on people. I want him to have mercy on them, because I know that some of the stuff they're doing, they're going to incur the wrath of God.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God, just have mercy. Well, why would I want to have mercy? They brought it on themselves. I want to pray for God to have mercy on them, even though they brought it on themselves. And even though they may gloat and say, I must be all right because God ain't do nothing. It must be okay with him because he ain't strike. If I'm wrong, God, strike me down right now. Strike me down right now. Strike me down right now. And because God don't strike them down right now, then they think that they got away with something. Why would God just keep on letting me stand up to preach and I was wrong? Why would God just let me keep on stand up and sing if I was wrong? Listen, your gifting and your calling is without repentance. The Saul was still sitting on the throne, but he was no longer the king.
Absolutely.
God's spirit had already left him. He was a figurehead who no longer had any authority or God's anointing, but he was still in the position of the king. And God already had David on the back burner. Oh, no, I'm going to let you keep on going until you kill yourself. I'm bringing David on the scene. And he did. He committed suicide. So it is important that you understand that when it comes to love, love does not glory in somebody else's public failure. Love will cover a multitude of sins. I know you're wrong, but I want to pray for God to cover you till you get your craziness together. I don't want you to keep on being crazy, trampling on the grace of God. But I want God to cover you until you can get yourself together. And most people don't really want that kind of thing for anybody else. They want God to go on, expose them, Jesus. Expose them. Expose them right now. Teach them the lesson. And most of the people that are saying that are those who don't struggle with that sin. But remember, you reap what you sow. So if you want God to expose them with their sin, you're saying, God, expose me in mine. Expose me in mine. So, love number one, love endures. Love fights. Then number three, I just told you, love what?
Covers.
Love covers. Number 4, it says this, Ephesians chapter number 5, verse 25. Because I'm now trying to figure out whether or not you all actually have love. Because if you are quick to give up and you ain't willing to fight for the love, and you're not willing to cover the individual, you don't love them. Jesus said, once again, if you love me, keep the commandments. Ephesians 5:25, please. Steph, read that, please. And we're going to look at another aspect of it.
Husbands, love your wives.
Love your wives.
Just as Christ also loved the church.
As Christ also loved the church. So he says, love, husbands, love your wife. Love in the relationship. Now, we're going to broaden that, because whatever the relationship is, whether it's your best friend, whether it's your child, whether it's your, we just dating, yeah, but if you say love, here's what this level of love has to do. Love your wife to what degree that Christ did what?
Also loved the church.
And then what?
And gave himself to her.
So we see that number 1, we said it, that love will, it doesn't give up, it endures. Number 2, love refuses to quit, it fights. Number 3, love covers. And then number 4, love will sacrifice. Love will sacrifice. It sacrifices itself. He says, and gave himself. That's powerful, because that means that I am willing to yield in the relationship for love's sake and let you look right. See, that's the part right there. I'm willing to yield for the sake of the good of the relationship, because, for the most part, many of us aren't going to go out here and take a bullet for the person that we with.
Yeah.
So you have to look at it from a different perspective. I'll never forget, I think I've told this before when we were talking about love. That time I was dating a girl in high school, and when I was dating the girl, she was just somebody that I was dating. I never even had sex with her. I just was liking her. And we wound up, I was hoping that we would get to that point, but it didn't happen. And so I had an occasion where I was going to take her out, to a movie. And I was from Southeast, she was from Southeast. We were going to a movie that was called The Uptown, that was in Northwest, which was an area that was outside of my area, but you know, my mother was letting me use the car. We're gonna go to the Uptown. And so my mother says, hey, you're gonna drive the car tonight to take the car, gotta be clean. No problem. Take the car, clean it up. Because I wanna be, you know, a poser as well. So clean the car, I did all that kind of stuff like that. You know, you got money for it? Yes, ma'am, I do have money. You know, how much do you have? You know, my mother's concerned about how much money I have. You got the tickets, buying everything, because you don't let her pay for anything. Yes, ma'am. Okay. You know, so when you go to the house, don't blow the horn for her. You go up and knock on the door and ask for her father to let you have her. I said, Mom, father ain't even in her life. It's her well, whoever is there, you knock on the door. You don't blow the horn. Yes, ma'am. So I go up, knock on the door, and I talk to the lady, the mother, and I say, I've come to pick up Debbie and want to take her to the movies. We're going to go such and such movie. It starts at such and such time. We're going to be in such and such place. So I'm willing to do all of that. But my mother gave me some strict instructions. My mother said that when you take her to the Uptown, she says, that's not a good neighborhood. I said, I know, Mama, we be good. You know, because you always think you know everything. She says, well, if you get up there, if anybody tries to stick you up or tries to rob you, she says, if they ask for your money, give them money. I said, okay, yes, ma'am. She says, and if they ask for the keys to the car, give them the keys to the car. Well, it's her car, so, you know, if you want me to give it up, yes, ma'am. Says, if they ask for your money, give them the money. If they ask for the keys to the car, give them the car. She says, but if they try to touch the young lady, she said, die for her. I was like, die for her? I said, she's not even my girlfriend. You know, I haven't even done anything with her. I just am taking her out. Hopefully it will lead to that. But my mother said, die for her. And that kind of stuck with me. And I said, why? She says, because once you bring her out of the house, it is now your responsibility to protect her as her family would if she was still in the house. Yeah. And I said, yes, ma'am. I got the revelation. Love must be willing to give itself for whoever you are with. If I say I love you, but I've got to always be right and have my way, that ain't love. If I say that I love you, but I'm always making you have to prove, and I never have to prove, then something's wrong with that. If I am always the one that is on the giving end, and you're always on the taking end, that is not the same kind of sacrifice. And so love gives of itself. And that's why you don't give of your love to everyone if the one you are with is not willing to give of their love to you. You know, and that same song I talked about a minute ago, it's so good to love somebody when somebody loves you back. You can't do 70-30. You can't do 60-40. You can't do 50-50. It's got to be 100. Is my time gone?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Listen, I ran out of time. I'm not out of word. Thank you so much, Lady Michelle. Thank you, Church Talk Radio. We were in this thing. I had just 1 or 2 more things I wanted to give you, but I can't give it to you. All right. So thank you so much for being here. Please tune in next week. 3 o'clock, same bat time, same bat channel. That's what they said on Batman years ago. I invite you to come on here. Thank you so much again. My daughter. I appreciate you for just making this happen for us. Regina Robinson Davis, we love you so very much. Thank you, Church Talk. Thank you, YouTube. Please share this. Somebody's going to need it. This was very practical. I didn't come to beat you upside your head this week. I wanted to get some practical things to make you not say I love you so quick. Don't use that word throwing it around so frivolously. We've got to get out of here. We've got Bible study tonight. If you're not in the Bible teaching, Bible preaching, Bible believing ministry, please find one, join that very ministry. And if you're in the DMV, Delaware, Baltimore, Virginia area, please come and be a part of Faith United Ministries. Come grow with us. We're doing some very powerful things. And we close by saying that some people on the air because they like the way they sound on the air. Other people on the air because they can afford to be on the air. But we're on the air because what? We got some talking. We got some time for you. We out of here. You heard? God bless you. We appreciate you. We out of here. I don't know how to turn this one off.
X in the corner.